And it's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVets Media. We've got Iona basketball action coming up. Two home games for the Gaels this weekend against Niagara on Friday night, and then Canisius on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Great opportunities for come out and see the Iona University Gaels, and coached by Rick Pitino. We're with Iona graduate, legend of Iona basketball, Kevin Hamilton, an accomplished coach in his own right. Kevin, how are you today?
Very good, Ken. How are you?
Good, good. Appreciate a few minutes of your time. Now, let's start. Iona went out to Las Vegas for Thanksgiving Saturday, late night game against the Santa Clara Broncos, and 74 all. And then Santa Clara scored, I think it was the last 10 of 12 points in the game. What did you see in that game?
Well, it was exactly as I predicted. It was going to be a very close contest. The players from Santa Clara that I expected Iona to have a little bit of trouble with actually stood out for their team. And their guards are exceptional. One of the surprises was the big fella, Mr. Braun, in the middle for Santa Clara. Although he did not score very much, was very critical for their team in the win with his passing and his defense. And I think he presented a little bit of a problem for the Iona Bigs. Iona, continues to be very heavily guard driven. But when you run into teams that have guards as good as yours, then other people have to really step up and move forward. And I thought Santa Clara would present the type of obstacle they did. Now, if you told me that with 2 minutes to go in the game, it would be Iona up by 1 point or tied, I would have predicted Iona would win that game. But a couple of turnovers at the end and a couple of forced shots, really put them in a tough situation, and Santa Clara capitalized on that.
On the plus side, Walter Clayton, 26 points, and Janice Jenkins, I believe he had 15 in the game. They played very well, but I was a little disappointed. Nelly Jr. Joseph held the 4, and also Barak Jean-Louis, also 4 points.
Yeah, so like I mentioned in our last broadcast, Nelly depends on others to get him the ball. And I think over the next couple of games, you're going to see Iona really start to focus on trying to have much more of an inside presence. They're going to need to do that.
Okay. And tonight, I guess one of the questions is Quinn Zielinski did not play the last 2 games against Vermont and Santa Clara. His status is still uncertain for tonight's game. What's the difference when he's not in the lineup?
Well, he presents matchup problems for the opponents. A guy who can play both inside but loves to play outside with that long range shot that he has, and he brings a little bit more toughness to that front line. So they sorely miss him, and they're going to need him because the next couple of contests are really critical for Iona not to underestimate the opponents and prepare for an upcoming game with potentially a top 20 ranked team in St. Louis. So I'm hoping he's back because he certainly will give them some more depth underneath and create the matchups problems that will give Junior Josephs and others the opportunity to thrive inside a little more.
Okay, and tonight, 7 o'clock, should be a very high energy crowd at the Heinz Center for Iona to take on Niagara, the Purple Eagles. What do you see? What are keys to this game tonight?
So this is a contest that Iona has to take very seriously. Talent-wise, Iona should be the favorite at all positions. However, Niagara's the type of team that likes to hang around. Their contests against teams such as St. John's, it's a 6 to 8 point game, with under 5 minutes to go. They have 3 players that could present some problems for Iona if the focus isn't there. The lefty guard Thomason is a very good shooter, long range, but also is strong enough to get to the basket. The big fella in the middle, I want to pronounce his name correctly, Iorio, I believe. can play outside, which is going to force Nelly and others to have to come out and defend him far away from the basket, which, could be a little bit of a problem for Iona. And then the guard Bayless is someone who doesn't score a ton, but he's going to be the person that has to handle the Iona pressure. And if he can handle the pressure, Niagara likes to run a lot of time off the 30-second shot clock. And Iona's going to have to defend the entire possession, which when you play 7 guys, could present a problem near the end of the game.
Yeah, Coach Pitino always likes to talk about defense. And what do you think? We talked a little bit after the Husker game about needing to much better defend the three-point shooting of the opponent. So what do you think he's working on defense this week?
Well, Niagara has some capable scorers from 3. No matter who the competition is, each team will have somebody that can shoot from 3. And I'm certain that Rick is putting a ton of focus on making sure they close out and force offensive players to have to put the ball on the floor. With Nelly Jr. Joseph's ability to block shots, it's okay to overplay someone and force them to drive to the basket with the opportunity to get a block shot. So I would say as you see the season continue for Iona, that's going to be a focus, not giving up as many threes as they have in the last number of contests.
Very good. Kevin Hamilton, Iona legend, class of 1980. Is that correct, Kevin?
1980, long time ago.
Absolutely. And I always remember the story after you played Louisville in that iconic game at Madison Square Garden. You were in class at 8 o'clock the next morning.
That's correct. Couldn't miss class, and happy I got up to go.
What a fine example that is to all athletes. Kevin Hamilton, thank you. We'll look forward to catching up with you very soon. Thanks for a couple of minutes. I'm glad you were able to stop and park and talk for a couple of minutes with us.
Hopefully I'll see you tonight. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. This is Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVets Media.